Good morning, traders. This is a live trade recap with Webull version 5, and I took one trade this morning. We're going to go over it. I have it all on video, but very important, I am also going to share a link for Webull version 3 because I still prefer to use Webull version 3 for their screener. I like to trade with Webull version 5. But their screener is lacking some very useful features, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I start with the Markets tab, Tops, Top Gainers, select 1 day because that's when we're trading, and then if you click over here and maximize it, then you can organize by volume. Your volume is probably going to be somewhere over here, and you can just click on any of these things and move them around wherever you let go of your mouse button. That's where it's going to stay. Now, one problem with Webull version 5 is that when you close this and reopen it, it is going to move this back to wherever it was before, so that's just kind of an annoyance. Now, once you have it where you want to, you click on it and it organizes the list, but you really don't know right away what the top 10 stocks are because you don't have a number list over here, so you have to count through them. Again, it's just a minor annoyance, but those could be valuable seconds that you might miss an entry or an exit or whatever on a trade. The other thing that is a real pain that makes this pretty much unusable for me as a screener is that I can't see quickly the key statistics, which is what tells you the float size of the stock, and I'm only interested in 100 million shares or less unless it's the #1 stock. So if I go up here to the tab and I right-click Add Widget, I can add key statistics. Yours is probably not going to be here. You'll have to go to all widgets and then select key statistics, but it doesn't really help you, and I'll show you why. Again, because I don't know what stock this is. I think this is just something that they've overlooked. I just hit restore, so that brought us back to this page. But if we go back to here and maximize, and I'll show you the way that this works in the old version and why it's so much better. So even if I detach this key statistics, maybe I can minimize it here, go back to tops over here. If I click on any of these, and I have to organize by volume again, if I click on any of these, it doesn't change. It's not linked to the key statistics, so it doesn't help at all. If you go to the custom trade page, you can set it up so that everything is linked together, but you can only have one stock, one ticker symbol on the trade page at a time, and you would have to scroll through a watch list. So you got to make a watch list, scroll through the watch list, click on each ticker symbol for the whole page to change, and there's a little bit of a time delay in that. So again, you can miss exits and entries and triggers and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'll show you the workaround for that, and then the way you can download it. So on Webull 3. Whatever, this is 3.33, but the link I have is to download the latest installation version that I had, which is 3.25. You click on the Markets tab, Top Gainers, 1 day, all, organized by volume. Already it's better. You can see the top 10 stocks right away. And if you don't have this up here, all you have to do is click the add widget thing or widget settings and make sure that key statistics is selected. You can add whatever else you want up there, but this is really the main thing that matters. And you can move this wherever you want to the top or just below the quote. I guess the quotes thing is up there automatically. So right here we can see the float size of any of these stocks. As soon as I click on another stock, I know the float size. So I have this open up on my laptop, and then I have Webull version 5 open up on my desktop. So I'm not clicking back and forth through the different versions. I just have this screen open up all the time on my laptop, and then in Webull version 5, I click on the stocks page, and I just keep it here all the time. And you're probably just going to have one stock up like this initially, but if you click on grid, and then from this little drop down that says 4 charts, you can have as many as 9 charts up at once. So again, this will be open on my laptop, but I'm going to just show you here for an example. So let's say I want to put ARPO on my chart page here. ARPO. Just click enter. You type in whatever ticker symbol. Now, this is another thing that's annoying to me, but I've found out a way to avoid it is if I sync the indicators and then I close out that 5MA, then I don't have any indicators on my chart, which I don't want. If you use indicators, that's fine, but I just use the price action. So if I want DBGI on there, just type it in. Again, this will be on my laptop, so I'm not actually flipping back and forth. So you can see it's very quick. I can get whatever stock that I want up on the page very fast. and I can quickly look for entries and exits and all that kind of stuff. And since I have the time synced as well, if I want to look at the daily chart on all of them, they all go to that, or 5 minute or whatever. So that's kind of the beauty. And then also the great thing is that once you have your active trade set up and your hotkeys set up, and I showed that in the last video, whatever you click on here, you just trigger your hotkeys. Here's another very important tip. Every single day before you start trading with Webull version 5, click on active trade, right click, active trade settings, and then make sure that your hotkeys are set the way you want them to. Whenever I close this and reopen it, it deselects the stop loss and take profit order, and it also changes these stop price and limit price. Again, I don't know why they have it set like that. The old version didn't do that, so I think it's something they're overlooking. But those are little things, you know, you're gonna have to deal with if you want to trade with the latest version. And the reason why I'm trading with Webull 5.0 right now is because it's the only version they're offering for download on their website. So this is what newer traders are going to be using, and I want my videos to be helpful to newer traders. Now I'm going to click back on chart, and I bet you this is going to hang up for a second. Yeah, so I just clicked it, and then look what happens. This is something that happens every time. So I try not to go to those settings while I'm trading. I set them up before I start trading, and now I'm back to chart. For whatever reason, going to active trade does that. I'm not sure if any of the other... Yeah, everything else seems to work very fast, but whenever I go from active trade back to chart, it always hangs up like that. So make sure you have it set up before you start trading. Now, let me show you how to download the old version of Webull. I have, excuse me, I tried to upload a direct link to Facebook, and they don't allow you to upload .exe files. So what I did, if you go over here to more, you have to become a member, but everything is free. I just have this page up to share these files and share tips and tricks and let other traders talk about trading. So if you click on more and you go to media, no, not media, I'm sorry, files. The very first link right now, it'll probably move down as I upload other things, but link to download Webull 3.32.5. You click on that. And I guess you just click on the link here, yeah, and then click here as well. So it's a little bit of kind of a runaround thing. And then right here, I just clicked on the link. Let's see, yeah, and then I guess you just click download or open, and that should work. Let me know if it doesn't. But if this doesn't work, I'm not sure how else to get this to you, because I tried uploading it directly to Facebook and they won't allow it. So this is my my best shot at sharing the old version with you so that you can use the screener the same way I do. And I wouldn't be able to trade without the screener functioning the way it does in this old version. So that's that. So now we'll take a look at the trade. It was only one trade, so it'll be very quick. Today was a super slow day. It took a long time just to get some stocks up on the list here to see, you know, stocks that were actually moving, that were lower floats. Once I did, everything was trading way below its previous high, so there were no triggers. You can see that UWMC is starting to head up to its new high, and then Vrpx was halted, and now when a stock gets halted, it automatically goes on to my, I'll call this my watch list, even though it's the stocks page, but this is what I'm watching my stocks with. And what I'm waiting for is for it to come out of suspension. I screwed up a little bit here because I put it on the 5-minute chart while it's in suspension, because I know the old version of Webull, I'm not sure if it's the same way with the new one. When these stocks would come out of suspension, it wouldn't show you the price for about 20 seconds on the 1-minute chart. But on the 5-minute chart, it does. So I was just waiting for things to start moving again. And then the plan was to flip back over to the 1-minute chart. But I did get distracted because PT also popped up. And so I put that on my watch list, and I was watching that for an entry, but I forgot I was on the 5-minute chart. I may have been able to take an entry on this on the 1-minute chart, but by the time I realized it, it was too late, and whatever entries had passed. So yeah, there's where I realized, okay, I was still on the 5-minute, and I flipped it back to the 1-minute, and you can see that there's already a couple of pullbacks, just one candle pullbacks. But even if I miss the first pullback, I don't take a trade, because it's just less likely for the second pullback to also work. So that's just one of my rules. Even though this one, it would have worked, but just because it works like 1 out of 20 times doesn't mean you can do that every time, because obviously you're going to be losing in the long run if that's the odds of working out. All right, so now I am looking for the 1 minute candle to make a new high after this came out of the halt. And it did so right there. Looking at this now, this may have been a premature entry, an error entry, so I think I'm going to put it in, box it in red on my spreadsheet, because I'm supposed to wait for a pullback after it comes out of the halt. And it looks like this thing didn't really pull back. I think this was before the halt. I mean, let me just double check on the chart where it is right now. Let's see, what was that ticker symbol? So this is the great thing about reviewing your trades, Vrpx, is that sometimes when you're in the trade, you think you're doing the right thing, and then you look back and you say, wait a minute, I totally screwed that up. So let's see. So I know it was halted here when I found it and put it on my chart. It was at the 949. So I guess the only real correct entry that I could have made was for the break of this candle here, but that wouldn't have worked either because, well, I guess my stop loss would have been extremely large, and that would have been dangerous. And I mean, I think the trade would have failed anyway. It would have failed, and it would have been a riskier trade because I would have had a huge stop loss. So I guess the trade I took was better in that sense. But again, I think it was an error on my part because I want to look for these things to pull back first before I take an entry. So if I would have done this the right way, I would have waited for all of this to happen, and then my first entry would have been for the break of this candle right here, and my stop loss would have been over here. So it would have been a really tight stop, you know, like 6 or 7 cents, something like that. And it probably, let me see, would it have worked out? High is 412, the low is 408. Let's use the 2-hour calculator. This is also downloadable from the, let's say we got in at 413, and I think the stop loss was 408. You can download this from the Facebook page as well. Stop loss would have been 407. So I don't think this trade would have worked. 425 is what it would have had to hit on this candle, and it didn't. It only hit 420, and then it would have stopped me out here. So I would have been stopped out at that point. And then my next entry, so that would have been trade 1. These are all hypothetical. Again, I would actually be done trading at this point, or I actually would not have taken, yeah, I wouldn't have taken this trade. Sorry that I'm kind of getting off track here, but this is important stuff. My plan and my strategy says that I can trade between 9:30 and 10, and I have a lot of reasons for that. But either way, that is a hard and fast rule. And once the 10 o'clock candle is formed, I am done trading no matter what. So if I would have actually done this properly, I wouldn't have taken any trades today instead of taking this one trade. I wouldn't have taken any trades. And because this break of this candle happened on the 10:01 candle, so it would have already been past my cutoff for day trading, so it would have been done. But hypothetically speaking, let's say this was before 10 a.m. If I waited until this next pullback, so this obviously would have been a failed trade here. That would have been one loss. And then the next entry would have been for the break of 1 minute candle, which happened right here. And this would have been a very small trade, but it still would have been a winner. I would have had to wait for $4, and the stop loss would be $3.96. So let's see. Let's just put that in the 2-hour calculator, $4 and $3.96. So it would have been a very small 2% gain on the investment. But it would have worked for sure because the target would have been 408, and I think that happened right here on this next candle. So the second trade would have worked, and it probably would have canceled out the first. Yeah, so the first would have been a 1.45 loss, and because I'm trading to 2R, I would have made 2% on the next one. So I would have been green on the day, just, you know, a little bit, but it still would have been a green day. Again, that's hypothetical. That would have had to happen before 10 o'clock, so it didn't actually work out. It's interesting to note that APR did eventually break out. APRO broke out through its previous high, but again, doesn't look like it really gave any good 2R trades. Definitely didn't yet. So things are very weak in the market right now. Let's just quickly look at the SPY since this is already a long video. Just want to show you what I'm talking about. We'll just put it on one chart here. Things have been pretty crazy. Let's go to the daily chart. So you can see over here that just things are just whipping around like crazy after this nice, slow, steady uptrend. Now it's very chaotic. And that's why I think that trading is so difficult the last couple of months or so. And that's because we're at all-time highs and the market is due for a correction, is due for a big pullback. So we're just waiting to see when that happens. And until then, all I can do is trade my strategy and my plan and follow my rules 100%. And occasionally I'm going to make an error trade like I did today. So I have to update my spreadsheet because this is actually an error. So I'm going to change some of these numbers right now. So I am going to remove that trade because that was, so without errors, my win rate would be 38.9% basically. Right now, my actual win rate for considering every single trade is 35.7. So it's low, but still above break even. Break even is 33%. And to be honest with you, the way trading has been lately, or the way the market has been moving lately with such volatility and instability and unpredictability, since it's at all-time highs, if I can finish these 100 trades and even be slightly above break even or right at break even, I'm going to say that this is a very successful trading plan because it'll definitely be profitable when times are better, when you're, say, coming out of a pullback of the overall market. And when times are difficult like they are right now, it will keep you from losing too much money, which is a great thing, or at least keep you break even or slightly profitable. So if you can come up with a trading plan that does that, you're going to do very well. And this number stays the same because this includes all of the error trades. Actually, so let me explain this really quick just in case you're not sure why there's so many different win percentage. So one of these, this one here is just the average of all of these numbers. And the one that's the average of all of my trades altogether is this one right here. So this is the most accurate. And this is the most accurate based on the plan and not my own personal errors, which you would kind of assume that after trading 100 trades that the number of errors are going to diminish. So I'm going to get closer to this number. So at the end, I'll probably average out all three of these numbers to get a more meaningful average of what this trading plan and trading strategy is capable of on its own and with the influence of the trader himself. So anyway, hopefully this video was helpful to you. I know it was kind of long, but there was a lot of things to go over. And again, if you want to trade at all like this, if you want to trade actively with Webull and use their screener, I really think you have to have the old version as well as the new version. And unfortunately, they are not offering that on their website anymore. But again, you can just download that from the trading group. So let me know if you have any questions about that or about this trade or anything else. And as always, no matter what, go into every trade with a plan. Always take your stop losses no matter what. Honor your profit target. And in the long run, you should be green. Take care.